Hello and welcome to Database Management Systems. I'm Jivita Christie, and in this video, we are going to see a few more set operation queries in SQL on the database we created earlier. So let's begin. The first query we're going to do is find the first and last names of all employees who work on the Download Client project, but not on the Robotic Spouse project. Now to do this query, I am going to use the Notepad program because I want to avoid typing things several times. So let's write the code in Notepad. You can do the same. So the first thing we need is the first name and the last name of all employees. So we are going to get this thing from the employees table, but I'm going to do this query in two parts. First, we'll find the first names and last names of all employees who work on Download Client project. So to get the Download Client project, I need to use the works on table. But once again, let me show you. The works on table contains data in this manner. It does not contain the words download client. It contains the code of download client. So in order to make this connection, we need to use the projects table also, which contains the description of this code, which is given in the question, which is download client. So from employees join works on using employee ID, and then I'm going to join it with projects. And projects we are going to join using project ID, because the common thing between projects and works on is the project ID. Now, once this is ready, I'm going to put the condition that the description is a column from projects. So the description should be equal to download client. And that's the first part of the query. This gives me all employees who work on download client. For the second part of the query, I don't need to change much because I only need to get employees who work on robotic spouse instead of download client. Everything else remains pretty much the same. So I'm going to copy this and then paste it and just change download client to robotic spouse. And also, it says that you need to find first and last names who work on download client but not on robotic spouse, which means I need to do a minus between the two. So here I will be putting the minus set operation between the two queries and put a semicolon to end this. Now what I need to do is copy all this by Control C. Then I'll go to the command line and right click here. Let me clear the screen here and go to the top bar and go to edit. Right click on the top bar and go to edit and click on paste. And it gives me as a result no rows selected. Now that's the correct answer, and we're going to see why, because we're going to see directly from the works on table itself. So select star from works on. This is the table. Now in this table, if you notice, I'm not going to show you the big picture in this. We'll just see it directly from here, what is happening. So we have the download client and we have robotic spouse, two things, right? To get their codes, we would have to go to the projects table, where we can see the project ID and the description. So using this, we can find all the codes. Now, what is the code of download client? It is DNLDCLNT, and code of robotic spouse is RoboSPSE. So those are the two we are interested in. So we get employees 3, 4, 5, and we get employee 3. Now, before we move on to get the first and last names, let's just work with the employee IDs. So what we are basically doing is taking employee 3 who works on download client, and from there we are doing a minus. So we wrote this query like this. This first query gives us the first and last names, last name of employee 3, whatever that is, okay. And the second query will end up giving you 3, 4, and 5, the first and last names of employees 3, 4, and 5, since they work on robotic spouse. Now, if you are doing 3, a set which contains 3, and from there you're subtracting 3, 4, 5, then obviously 3 gets subtracted and you are left with nothing. And that's why we are getting the result no rows selected. So that was the query, that was the question. Now let's go to the next one. The next one says, find the first and last names of all employees who work on the download client project and the robotic spouse project. This time they are saying that it should be download client as well as robotic spouse. So this is a question where we want one employee to be working on both the projects. Now, for this, let us use this notepad, and now you'll understand why I wrote it here. Because all we need to do, we've already written the query to find employees' first name, last name of those working on download client. And we've also done first name, last name of employees working on robotic spouse. We only need to do an intersection between the two. So intersect. And that's it. We can copy this query and go back to command line. Let's clear all this up. And click the bar on top, click on edit and paste. And you can see the result is Harry Hardware. We can verify the result by looking directly at the works on table. So from the works on table, we have here the result of the first query will be obviously 3, download client. The result of the second query will be 3, 4, and 5. So the common thing between the two is number 3. And if we want to know who number 3 is, we can check from the employees table and we'll find that it is Harry Hardware. So this is just a slight variation in the previous query we did. Now let's see the next one. The next one says, find first and last names of all employees who work on download client project or robotic spouse project. Now this time we are given a choice that it could be download client, it could be robotic spouse, or it could be both. So this is the type of thing where you would want to do a union. Now notice that everything else in the query is the same. We want people from download client, from robotic spouse, but it could be either one, or it could be both. So we will just change intersect to union this time. So now we are taking union between the two. Let us once again copy this. And then we can go here, clear everything. Click on the bar on top and right click and paste. This time we are getting 3 people, Abe Advice, Harry Hardware, Susie Software. And we can verify our answer by once again looking into the works on table, where we know that we will be getting 3, 4, 5 because they are working on robotic spouse. We will be getting 3 because of download client. But when you take a union between 3, 4, 5, and 3, you will get 3, 4, 5 because duplicates are removed. And if we check the employees table, we can see 3, 4, and 5 are Harry Hardware, Susie Software, and Abe Advice, which is our result. So that is how you can do union. It's a slightly bigger query, that's all, than what we did in the last video. Now the second last query, that is, find the first and last names of all employees who work on the download client project or robotic spouse, but not both. So this is the previous query was who work on download client or robotic spouse. There was no condition that they should not be working on both. So we included such employees. Now we need to exclude such employees who work on both projects. So first of all, this part of the query that we've done here remains the same. That is the union between the two. And let me just put it this way. So the union between these two will be there. But from this union, we need to remove all the people who are working on both the projects. That means, and if I want to find people working on both projects, I have to take an intersection. So I'm going to remove this semicolon from here and paste this and change the union to intersect. Now, what I need to do is basically union minus intersect. I want people working on download client or robotic spouse, but I don't want people working on both of them. And so I have to do union minus intersect in this manner. So just add a minus here in between, and let's Control A and Control C, copy this, go to the command line, clear all this up, and go to the top bar, right click, edit, and paste. And this time we are getting Abe Advice and Suzy Software. It's a quite big, long query, 15 lines, but that's okay when you are typing it in Notepad. Now, how did we come to this conclusion? Because we can check the table. The works on table contains these 6 rows, and people working in download client, that is only one, number 3. Robotic spouse 3, 4, 5. Now you tell me from here which person is working on both. You will answer that it is number 3. So number 3 is working on both, and so 3 will be eliminated, but 4 and 5 will be included. So 4 and 5, we can see who 4 and 5 are. Select star from employees. 4 and 5 are Suzy Software and Abe Advice, and that's what we are getting here as a result. You can see we are getting that as a result. So this is how you can combine union, intersect, and minus in one single query in SQL. And now for the last query, we are going to do this one, which is using minus, find all of the departments without any projects. So I need to use minus and find all departments without any projects. So let's just clear the screen first, and then we will apply the query. So in this question, we need to find all departments, which means we can show their codes or we can show their names, whatever we like. I'm going to show the code. So the departments table looks something like this. And there is a column called code. So I'm going to select that. Select code from departments. Before that, we also need to find departments without any projects. And for that, we would require the projects table also. Now it's as simple as this. The code from departments will give you all the codes of all the departments, but the depth code from projects will give you only those depth codes which are given some project. Otherwise, they wouldn't be present in the projects table. So you just need to subtract the two. So it's fairly simple. You will just select code from departments. And then from here, you will subtract those projects, those codes which are assigned some project. So you're going to select depth code from projects. And there's only one such department, which is HDWRE. We can verify that by checking the departments table. Let's just get the code from department. These are the 4 departments, and depth code from project. These are the depth codes from projects, and you can clearly see that ACCNT is appearing here, admin is appearing here, and CNSLT as well is appearing here, but HDWRE is not appearing in projects. So this is the department which is not assigned any projects. So that's where we conclude our set operations in SQL. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.